it blocks. Gamer getting 3, but the Suzu comes out a little bit early, and Nathan just get 1 with the pulse bomb and being able to finish it off with the flux though as well. It's a little interesting with the choice. Holding the line actually in kind of a misplay coming out from Gatos, like using all those ults. I mean, the fight's still going, but as long as
very low.
Oh, Milo does
You're
die
still
though.
alive though.
Oh, well, about that. This is a very scrappy fight. They do find the Echo, and oh my, they're at 3v5 right now. They do get the kill onto. They do get the kills onto on the front, and now Panini and Seven are just left to die off the point. Not fighting anything with the Rampage either. That's a little unfortunate. And Nathan is honestly going to take an avenue to the Bambi trying to hold it down. Though Dragons does come out. They do also get a res from Panini, and Seven does get a nice kill. Fighting Nathan, trying to fight for his life. They do have the duplicate as a second life. Let's see what they do. The window does come out from Milo, but Milo about to get knocked out by Seven. Does also get the duplicate, not dying. And trying to find any opportunity in Bambi.
They really focused on the Hog there, and the Hog just didn't die.
Yeah.
First member.
Yeah, I mean
they were down their Hog and their Sojourn.
Oh, and they lost Lucio too. It's gonna be real hard for them to rotate out now. Oh, Vin keeping right in front of Bambi, and Bambi just taking some easy pickings to say at least. They can maybe find an opportunity. Oh, but they do miss the Blizzard. Oh, a nice antidote coming up from Vin. But Seven is in the back line. Kind of already but the full bumpers out. Oh, you get the Hog. With another big damper onto them. Caber is so low, and Caber does die. We do get to see an overclock though. Does find 1, finds 2, finds 3. You know, that's 3 times. Oh, you get a nice. They actually don't get the Suzu on. Oh! Caber canceling the pulse bomb as well, and ooh, it blocks. Gamer getting 3, but the Suzu comes out a little bit early, and Nathan just get 1 with the pulse bomb and being able to finish it off with the flux though as well. It's a little interesting with the choice. Holding the line actually in kind of a misplay coming out from Gatos, like using all those ults. I mean, the fight's still going, but as long as
very low.
Oh, Milo does
You're
die
still
though.
alive though.
Oh, well, about that. This is a very scrappy fight. They do find the Echo, and oh my, they're at 3v5 right now. They do get the kill onto. They do get the kills onto on the front, and now Panini and Seven are just left to die off the point. Not fighting anything with the Rampage either. That's a little unfortunate. And Nathan is honestly going to take an avenue to the Bambi trying to hold it down. Though Dragons does come out. They do also get a res from Panini, and Seven does get a nice kill. Fighting Nathan, trying to fight for his life. They do have the duplicate as a second life. Let's see what they do. The window does come out from Milo, but Milo about to get knocked out by Seven. Does also get the duplicate, not dying. And trying to find any opportunity in Bambi.
They really focused on the Hog there, and the Hog just didn't die.
Yeah.
First member.
Yeah, I mean
they were down their Hog and their Sojourn.
Oh, and they lost Lucio too. It's gonna be real hard for them to rotate out now. Oh, Vin keeping right in front of Bambi, and Bambi just taking some easy pickings to say at least. They can maybe find an opportunity. Oh, but they do miss the Blizzard. Oh, a nice antidote coming up from Vin. But Seven is in the back line. Kind of already but the full bumpers out. Oh, you get the Hog. With another big damper onto them. Caber is so low, and Caber does die. We do get to see an overclock though. Does find 1, finds 2, finds 3. You know, that's 3 times. Oh, you get a nice. They actually don't get the Suzu on. Oh! Caber canceling the pulse bomb as well, and ooh, a flux. Caber getting 3, but the Suzu comes out a little bit early, and Nathan just gets 1 with the pulse bomb and being able to finish it off with the flux though as well. It's a little interesting with the push. Holding the line actually in kind of a misplay coming out from Gatos, like using all those ults. I mean, the fight's still going, but as long as
very low.
Oh, Milo does
You're
die
still
though.
alive though.
Well, about that. This is a very scrappy fight. They do find the Echo, and oh my, they're at 3v5 right now. They do get the kill onto. They do get the kills onto on the front, and now Panini and 7 are just left to die off the point. Not fighting anything with the rampage either. That's a little unfortunate. And Nathan is honestly going to take an avenue to the Bambi trying to hold it down. No, Dragons does come out. They do also get a res from Panini, and 7 does get a nice kill. Fighting Nathan, trying to fight for his life. They do have the duplicate as a second life. Let's see what they do. The window does come out from Milo, but Milo about to get knocked out by 7. Does also get the duplicate, not dying. And trying to find any opportunity in Bambi.
They really focused on the hog there, and the hog just didn't die.
Yeah.
First member.
Yeah, I mean
they were down to their hog and their Sojourn.
Oh, and they lost Lucio too. It's gonna be real hard for them to rotate out now. Oh, Vin keeping right in front of Bambi, and Bambi just taking some easy pickings to say at least. They can maybe find an opportunity. Oh, but they do miss the blizzard. Oh, a nice antidote coming up from Vin. But 7 is in the back line. Kind of already. Oh, but the full bumpers out. Oh, so you get the hog. But another red big damper onto them. Caber is so low, and Caber does die. We do get to see an overclock though. Does find 1, finds 2, finds 3. You know, that's 3 times. They do get a nice. They actually don't get the Suzu on. Oh! Caber canceling the pulse bomb as well, and ooh, a flux. Caber getting 3, but the Suzu comes out a little bit early, and Nathan just gets 1 with the pulse bomb and being able to finish it off with the flux though as well. It's a little interesting with the push. Holding the line actually in kind of a misplay coming out from Gatos, like using all those ults. I mean, the fight's still going, but as long as
very low.
Oh, Milo does die though.
You're still alive though.
Well, about that. This is a very scrappy fight. They do find the Echo, and oh my, they're at 3v5 right now. They do get the kill onto. They do get the kills onto on the front, and now Panini and 7 are just left to die off the point. Not fighting anything with the rampage either. That's a little unfortunate. And Nathan is honestly going to take an avenue to the Bambi trying to hold it down. No, Dragons does come out. They do also get a res from Panini, and 7 does get a nice kill. Fighting Nathan, trying to fight for his life. They do have the duplicate as a second life. Let's see what they do. The window does come out from Milo.
Welcome
Milo about to get knocked out by
semi-finals match between Los Gatos de Guadalajara and the New Zealand Numbys. I'm one of your casters, War, joined by a caster and production, BOON1E. BOON1E, talk to me about this match, okay? Because I think you had some interesting predictions for this match.
I mean, not necessarily interesting, but I think it should be a very close game. Both these teams, of course, being 1 and 2 respectively in their division over on the gold side, I believe is what we referred to as. But the Guadalajara having only 1 loss this season, being against the New Zealand Numbie in a 3-1 fashion. And, of course, the Numbies being undefeated this season, the only team to do so far. And they did so with kind of a handicap, with Kevin being limited as a long-range hit scan, and we'll see potentially that comes into effect here when we go into the new patch, which is a kind of favorable towards the projectile more than the hit scan in terms of the hitbox size changes on your actual damage. We'll see how that affects this match, but honestly, this game could go either way. I expect a Mat 5 banger, but if I had to lay down my cards and predict something, I probably would favor the Guadalajara right now just because of how the Numbys struggled in their last playoff game in the quarterfinals against the Turks. They went all the way to map 5. And honestly, for me, the turning point in this series is going to be on control. The Guadalajara won it, from my research, 6 or 7 times, while the Numbys only won it 5. It was by far their worst map type. So that would be kind of a huge turning point for me, personally, in the series. But our first one is going to be pushed, and we're going over to New Queen Street, which is interesting. We'll see if we actually decide to go. Okay, we're swapping it back to Coliseo now. I think the teams are very confused what we're actually playing, but when we look at it, if we go to either Coliseo or New Queen Street, I'm expecting Sidon to go over to the Tracer, because even though in this kind of league situation, Sidon has played a lot and a lot of longer hit scan, being that Sojourn, being that Ashe, but actually Tracer is, I believe, his most played character and probably his best. So Sidon versus Whalefish and Yak and Kevin, like, this DPS lineup is going to be a huge battle. But for me, the turning point, I'll let you come in here eventually, but the turning point is going to be a support line here. You know, both the support lines are quote-unquote the weakest link to this team, but they're both extremely strong. You have Tedium versus Jack, Tedium being the huge value pick on that flex support, as well as Raspberry. So it's kind of just the which support line can use these changes, especially with the new DPS passive, being that 20% reduced healing, which support line can keep their tank and their DPS up longer in these fights. I think for me, it's going to be the support line battle to see who goes to the BOON1E Bowl to face the Zealous Zeniths in the grand finals.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that, but I do think that the New Zealand Numbys are going to take this match. I do think it's going to be really close. I'm still predicting a 3-2, the same as you are, BOON1E, but I will say between these two teams, I know the Numbys recently did just a scrim, and it was just a very quick scrim. Not quick scrim, 2-hour scrim, but they played a lot of these maps. The first map they played was Coliseo, and you're right, they're running that like Tracer comp, but they were very flexible with their support line all of last night when at least I scrimmed against them. So I am ready for the support line to just really pull out all the stops. They've been playing a lot of Lifeweaver, a lot of Mercy, but they dabbled on like 60-70% of the sports last night. So I think that they're ready to be flexible and they're ready to assert themselves.
I think, I mean, the biggest turn point is going to be control, but you also look at it when it's not push, it's flashpoint. The Guadalajara struggle a lot on that map type as well. So if we go to a map 5 and we go to a flashpoint, that could be your 3-2 prediction going the way of you. So I have to see which team can kind of use, their weakest map type to their advantage here in what should be a close series coming up.
I like that Dyer actually starting off on the Sigma rather than the ball. I think that the ball, just because Angel can kind of mirror that in her own extremely skillful way, I think that you don't want to take that mirror. I think you go with what you're experienced with. You take the Sigma shield, you give Kevin those long sight lines that he's so proficient with. As we're getting into the engagements here, we got Tracer beat Tracer on the outside of the map. Well, not really much progress given towards this card. Seems like every team just scared to move. A lot of respect being shown just thus far. Just want to make sure that they're going to go in at the right time.
I mean, as of right now, the DPS side on the left side on this fountain, trying to avoid Kevin's sightlines. So don't want to give that to him, but the point is open, officially going the way of the New Zealand Numbys. Here comes a dive in early.
Oh, and Jack, first one down in the fight. That's going to be a lot of healing taken away from the New Zealand Numbys, and Chloe's so good at just cleaning up those kills one by one. It's just gonna be a full execute there. Dyer has managed to seal the bot. That's going to be about 15 meters. He's going to be able to obtain before eventually getting his staggered out. And you got to think that distance is going to be taken back by the Gatos de Guadalajara, and Sadon already making the switch over to the Cassidy.
And the advantage there of running the Lucio as Zainababa is you can just find Jack on the Zenyatta. Zenyatta very strong in this patch, but if you just walk on him, you can't do too much. Not too much escapability, especially if Raspberry's playing Lifeweaver. Very tough to keep the Zen alive through a 5-man dive, which is exactly what the Guadalajara did. And now they have the advantage coming up here. Whalefish closest, Pulse Bomb ready, close to ultimate on the field. But, I mean, Chloe, they're going to walk back towards the area and just don't want to take this open fight against the Sigma. They want to make them brawl inside this area with the Junker composition.
Yeah, and they're doing a good job of that at the moment. But Jack getting picked early again is going to be absolutely detrimental, though. A trade comes back onto Chloe, so this is definitely a winnable situation. Sidon finding the second pick. Yak going in at the moment, not going to be able to find anything. And it seems like New Zealand Numbys are going to win their first fight. You can take control of the point. Now Jack is back to speed the team forward.
Sidon with quick 4K there, close to him over to this Cassidy. Does stop the aggression a little bit from Whalefish and Yak with the Hinder Grenade. Can't do too much if you get touched with that, so they have to play pretty slow. And they take advantage of it as, you know, Chloe goes in a little too aggressively under Queen. No help from her team. Kevin has the sightlines up here. Do they decide to take these corners? I mean, Chloe's touching point, but Zainababa down first. Does beat out of the fight.
Yeah, and Dyer has no qualms in pushing that aggression. So willing to take the fight against Chloe. Chloe is not even scared of that fight. Whalefish does use a pulse bomb, does not connect to anything though. And now it's just what can the New Zealand Numbys clean up towards this point. Yak does use the dash and does get taken out, but solid fight and only one ultimate committed. I like that 1-for-1. They did manage to get out the pulse bomb as well. So New Zealand Numbys do take the lead and are not losing in the ultimate bank either.
Oh, Jack is a deflect kill on the Jack with the deflect on the headshot from Kevin. Kevin actually landing the shot, but finding a deflect only takes down Lucio. So now Jack does not have this beat, and they're going to use their blade early. Yak with the second one in this battle. Looks like that'll probably be the fight here unless things cool quickly. I mean, Sidon's still alive and Raspberry has the coalescence, but perhaps they want that one back. It is a quick ultimate. You got blade for it. You got the lead. Couldn't quite get a checkpoint, though. But look at the ultimates here. Zainababa still has his beat for Dyer's Gravitic Flux here. Do they try to do the higher noon combo, you know, with Sidon with his high noon? But Chloe probably looking early here for an aggressive rampage.
I think you got to watch out for the beat, but the one thing you got to watch out for is Teddy M on those headshots. Kevin gets shut down, and now it's going to be the Guadalajara who's pushing the aggression here. The flux from Dyer actually is going to completely miss there. Doesn't find anybody, and now Guadalajara still pushing up. Chloe's all the way in spawn. Kevin's finally back to sort of give some aggression. They do find the pick on to Whalefish, and now Chloe's caught out in the open. Jack with the boop to try and trap her in there. Beats invested as well from Jack. They're looking to turn this fight directly around, but no picks just yet. Fight's gone to a stagger, and Jack finally going down. That's gonna be a massive pick. Chloe lines up that Jungle Queen ult. It's gonna completely shut down the point. Lead has been in favor of Guadalajara, but they're gonna be able to push it a lot more now with only Raspberry waiting for the team to come back.
They're going to get this checkpoint here, which is a pretty good advantage to them going forward. But honestly, the MVP of that fight is Tedium, opening up with the headshot into Kevin, taking the butt out of the fight. But then also lands a huge Suzu onto Chloe. She got rocked and was 1 HP. But the Suzu lands and keeps Junqueen alive in the fight. And then it kind of forced out a panic ult from Dyer. Doesn't land on anybody. So then you can use aggressive beat from Zainababa, and then follows up with the rampage when the fight kind of breaks into chaos. So a huge fight there from Tedium, and now they had their point, they have checkpoint, they move forward here, they got the corner as well.
They're all collapsing onto Dyer, onto Sidon on this point. Sidon now over onto the Genji. Kevin with that first initial pick in the fight onto Zainababa.
No one can hide.
And now they're all engaging onto Chloe, engaging onto Yak. Finds both. Sights utilized a bit late as well, just to clean up the rest of the kills. Do find Whalefish with that, so that will do Kevin wonders in creating them a bit of space, but just well the Gatos are respawning.
Yeah, and I mean for that one, it was kind of just Kevin gets the opening shot, gets the opening kill, and we move on off that one. But now going at it, it's which ultimate here can get more value now that both losers have no beats. Will it be Yak's Blade or will it be Dyer's Gravitic Flux? Dyer, of course, whiffing in that less Gravitic Flux, looking for a big one this time. Yak has not missed the Blade just yet here, looking for a duplicate here. Basically the same spot to use the last one as well. So a very even fighting out, both teams playing very slowly, but Dyer is going to get walked on, but is going to get a big flux, but no kills.
Sidon does help clean up that kill onto Zainababa, but in the meantime, the support line for the New Zealand Numbys do fall down. It's trades on either side. It's a battle of the Genjis. Blade is popped from Sidon just to finish off Yak there, and that's going to give a lot of percent, but I don't know if it's going to be enough for them to take the lead, especially with this slowdown here. Zainababa is actually going to drop down and contest the point. They're going to prevent the close spawns, I believe.
They do prefer the checkpoint there, and that's just, you know, it's just Sidon has to retreat, was so weak, could not really engage with Dyer to keep the point moving forward, and now you look at it, Yak still has his Blade, they have the beat, they have the Casino Rush. A lot here for the Gatos to push forward with and play aggressive, which is exactly what they want to do in this enclosed space with Junk Queen composition. I expect the Gals take this one.
Yeah, that's the person I'm looking at in this fight. Will he pop the Blade, or will they just be fine with that Kitsune Rush? There goes the Blade onto the back line, looking for Raspberry. Does manage to find that pick. With the help of Whalefish, Kevin goes down as well. The spelling disaster for New Zealand Numbys, as now they lack the progress and they also lack the people to follow up with it as well. Jack falls, Dyer falls. Another clean fight win, and that's bound to get a lot more progress unless Kevin finds a head tap anywhere here.
And I mean, they're going to get a checkpoint again, so the close bonds are back. And that's just honestly the more ultimates. They use the Kutsuna rush, they use the blade. Nothing to really capitalize on top of any ultimates from the side of the Numbys. Now they're going to have this beat potentially to try to sustain through Chloe's rampage, but they also walk in a beat from Zainababa as well. Do decide to counter beat here.
Jack goes in so aggressively with that beat. That's opening up the window for Chloe to go in with that rampage. Finds out Jack was playing a bit too aggressive there. And the beats stacked on top of it just to sort of pad into the absolute advantage. Dyer, Sidon just forced back into the spawn room. And they'll happily take that. Sights are up now, but so much progress has already been gained. I feel like you know exactly where the players are going to be anyways. In these close range fights.
And I mean, Chloe hits the rampage, hits 4 people, and then also Ajax is Jack's beat. So it takes that beat out of the fight. That allows Zainababa to go aggressive of their own. They get the final picks, they get the final blows. But now, with only 2 minutes left in the time bank, it's getting way too close for comfort here. Jack first down. Both supports are gone.
It's going to be stacked ults from Dyer and Sidon, but is it going to be enough to keep them in the fight? Sidon's got to pull off some amazing hero plays here. A 3v1 situation on the point. Not enough for him to win, so 2 ultimates used, but 2 of the best players. They're still losing the fight overall. They will have a last second for a final touch. Looks like Guadalajara is backing up. They lost a few key members during that fight. They need to regroup with Chloe, with Teddy M.
And now you look at it, they're trying to do anything with these combo swap. They're going towards a dive here. Sidon over on to the Tracer, Kevin on the Ashe. Jack using the Kiri, but it might be a little bit too late here with only a minute left in the time bank. Not checkpoint garnered either. You're walking into Yak's blade here. He's going to have this and no beat on the other side to stop it.
Yeah, that's so hard to counter in this conversation, especially when Yak gets the opening pick completely dry. Now going in there with the blade, supported, and now support line for the New Zealand Numbys that fall down. Teddy M gets traded back though. Sidon putting in some major work. Both supports from both teams are down, and Sidon pulling off some amazing heroics on the back line. It's Whalefish and Angel both peeling. Eventually they're able to clean up that kill, but a bit sloppy, and both teams really have to just wait for the supports to come back. The fact that Jack and Raz are back, they can push up a little bit, but not too much. Jack has to be insanely careful because there is a Jungle Queen right behind that wall. Dyer's finally back now, and the fight engages again. They're engaging down onto Jack. Doesn't have the Suzu to cleanse that, and doesn't have really anything to keep the team back alive. Raspberry with the Coalescence, but it's not going to be enough to really win them out that fight. Dyer falls on the point, Kevin falls as well, and now this overtime is going to tick down. It's going to be Los Gatos de Guadalajara to take the first map of Coliseo.
They take that first map in a very decisive fashion. You know, they're not even a checkpoint garnered for the Numbys, and this is one of the map types, of course, I don't believe they lost the entire season. So the fact you got that off them here now put them in a pretty awkward situation, being down right now 1-0. It's not over, of course. I have updated this wrong team score, but oops. Don't worry, chat. I'm figuring out all those new graphics from Fruitals, of course. You did a very good job of these. This is all my fault. But as I was going on, the fact that the Numbys are now down in the series and they have map pick, but where do you even go? Because the Jungle Queen composition looks so good from the Guadalajara that they might be able to just kind of snowball any hybrid map you select here. Be interesting to see what they decide to go with on their side of this break. If you have anything else to say, of course.
I'm good.
Alrighty then. Break time. Bye-bye.
These beats are the purest. Prove it, prove it.
Welcome back, everybody, to New Zealand Numbys versus Los Gatos de Guadalajara. Going on to our second map. Currently, Gatos lead by 1, and it looks like the selection from the New Zealand Numbys is King's Row. I think that's a very, very interesting choice because they did scrim King's Row last night, so they do have the experience on this map. But I wonder, at some point in time, if you're the New Zealand Numbys, do you get to the point where you're sort of overcooking? They have compositions that work out, and they know a lot of compositions that work out, but you might just be overthinking yourself sometimes. And I really hope they don't get into that mindset because this is a really, really good team. And I really want to, you really want to see them do well, and you really want to see them have success. But it's a question of what can they find on this map here. Yeah, an amazing start from the Numbys. I will actually counter that idea. I like the idea of putting in your substitute on the second map because it gives you more flexibility on the third map, fourth map, rather than just like having to get them in twice during that period of time. Yeah. 1000%. Yep. And Genji too, he's very proficient in. But speaking of in, Angel goes straight in, with the help of Whalefish, but sent with the early pick, and Angel shut down as well. Now Yak is left in a very, very interesting spot on the back line. No dash to get out, and Sidon's more than willing to help clean that one up. Teddy M is also in a very interesting spot as well, trying to get his TP out and does manage to find it, all thanks to Whalefish. But fight sort of slowed down again, and looking for the recontest. But Angel going all the way around the map with the help of Panini, just jumping into the background. But the issue is when you have a New Zealand Numbys comp which is so willing to play extremely close range and willing to brawl it up against you, which is really not conventional for what they've been doing on their other maps, but they're willing to give it to you however they take it. They are easily able to win these fights. And Angel now making the switch over onto the Hog. How do you feel about this, BOON1E? High noon. And Rissa ult used as well. And Yak immediately after goes in with the blade. Dragon Strike on top of it as well. But a great wall from Sent to sort of deny the rest of the value here. Beat stacked on top of it as well for the Gatos de Guadalajara. And the New Zealand Numbys doing such a good job of just defending this primary area. Whalefish does find Raspberry. So now just leaving Dire and Jack on the point. Now just Dire. Sidon's back on a touch tracer, just to sustain for a bit, and does manage to find the pick on Teddy M. He is managing to stall at this point a tiny bit. Panini's going to be the one to clean that up, and it does not look like there's going to be another touch for the Numbys.
Still very good defense, though. You get down to a minute here on point A, which is a lot of teams taking this very quickly. So the fact you're down to here on point B with only 3 minutes in the bank, and your ult is building up, you're feeling pretty good. Sidon mixed up over on the Genji again to put more pressure over onto Whalefish on the Hanzo. I like that swap. It's just going to be up to Chloe to shut this down with the Roadhog. I do know I was muted on chat. But I didn't say anything important, so don't worry about it. You didn't miss anything good. A Centurion does have this Blizzard. Panini nowhere near the beat, so there should be a pretty easy fight win unless Yak hits a miracle deflect on this Blizzard.
Yeah, and Raspberry also switching over onto the Ana, so definitely more of a target for the Genji, but can cause a bit more problems for Chloe on that Roadhog. Looking for the hook, does not seem to find anything. That's going to be the green light for Dire to go in. The wall from Stent is also amazing to split up the team, and it's going to be a Coalescence and a Blizzard just right on top of that. That's going to shut down Angel, does not find anything else just yet, and that's just going to be quick little reset for the Gatos.
It's a fight win for Coalescence and a Blizzard, not too bad. I don't even know if you need the Coalescence on top of that one because the Blizzard was well placed. The wall as well stopped Chloe from escaping. So Centurion on the Mei looking really, really good here. And now you're walking into 5 ultimates basically from the Gatos. This should be a fight win for them, but you just try and get as much time off the bank as you possibly can if you are the Numbys.
Yeah, I think they're doing a good job of that so far. Dragon Strike used. Blade used as well. They're dumping a lot into this fight. And Whole Hog. Wait, is this just every ultimate Panini? Are you going to pop the beat too?
Might as well.
I'm really glad he doesn't. But that, I think, is a bit overused again on the side of the Gatos. I will say their ult use was so good on the first map. They were playing it much better than the Numbys, at least on the first map. But that was, I think, a little bit excessive, I'd say.
Yes, there's also a lot of AT synergy as well. I like the idea of the Casino Rush Whole Hog. It allows Chloe to shoot a lot faster, but Dyer uses the spin to keep that damage from coming in. But then Whalefish does the Dragon as well, but Chloe's pushing them away from the Dragon's radius. So it forces Yak to use the Blade as well on the remaining members. So bit of awkward play there. Now Dyer engages with his own, and now the Blade from Sidon just followed up, and it's looking pretty good.
Yeah, it's looking extremely good. And the situation where there was, because Chloe got antied in the backline, was really split from the team. The entire Numbys just looked at it, hit the anti-nade. Teddy M and Yak tried to go in and stop him, but that's just free Blade if they use all their cooldown abilities to just enter in that fight, so...
And again, not even sure if the Cole was needed there because they got Sidon with the Blade, he got the opening pick, and again, these Coles, you build it so quickly, so it's fine to use it, but at the same time, you don't want to start wasting these ultimates here, especially when the maps are getting this close. When you have 52 seconds, oh, close would be great here. You do have Nano, so you can Nano Sidon to possibly build another Blade for final fight, as well as Centurion with the Blizzard could be a deciding factor here. It's a nice wall, nice Blitz as well.
That was beautiful. That's going to freeze up 3 players. Nothing to counter that out, and you got to think that, okay, now we're entering the last fight. They're still holding on to the Nano. Sidon's actually going to be getting a bit greedy on this and does find Panini. That's a huge pick because now your Zenyatta's not going to be getting back in time unless he makes a swap over to a Lucio or something. Angel, speaking of swaps, now going to be going over onto the Junker Queen. It had some success on the first map. It's a question of what can she do with it here.
And Teddy really tried with that Suzu. It landed all members in the Blizzard, but the wall from Centurion was just placed, so Whalefish could not climb over it. Whalefish has this Dragon Strike here, and could be a sign factor. Raspberry with the Dragon eating up the Ana, but got the Nano off in time.
Yeah, the Nano is off. It's all going to be on Dyer. Center of the point. Goes for the ult. Isn't going to be able to find anything, but that's a lot of chip damage down. And now you put Sidon in a great place to look for the pick. Yak going in with the Blade, but shut down by Dyer. That's a massive play. And now Jack's built up another one of those coalescences. You talked about how quickly he builds those up. Looking for Panini here, but unable to find it in the moment. Now has to dive back towards the point. Raspberry's back on Lucio for the touch, but Sidon with the Blade finds one, dashes the second, goes on Teddy M, see if we can find anything. Teddy M with a great dash out, protecting Angel, keeping her alive onto the point, but now it's a one-man army, a one-woman army, a one-woman fight, and it's gonna end right there.
Teddy M is trying so hard. You can't do more than that man's doing right now in Kiriko. These Suzus are just the perfectly timed Suzu. In the Nano, Terra Surge, there it is, the Nano Terra Surge. If it was just a second later, Dyer kills probably at least 3 with that play. And then again, the Suzu to keep Panini alive in the fight through the Coalescence pressure, but then Sidon just comes in with a clutch Blade once that cooldown is gone. And that is just Centurion staying alive as well in the May for just as possible he possibly could do. But Sidon just clutching out again, our MVP of last season, showing us why again. And now, you didn't capture point B if you are the Gatos, and that's really rough. A lot of teams usually get to point C with a very sizable time bank. And honestly, I didn't understand the swaps. We had the Zenyatta randomly for like a fight or two, and then swap back, and then Sidon on Genji swapped off Lucio on a Zen into a Genji, and what we saw is that stagger coming into play, force us in desperation swaps. And honestly, right now it is just Centurion on the Mei is setting up his team so well with these walls, with these blocks, and Sidon finishes off the final blows. And by now, a big comp swap here for the Gatos. They're going back to the tried and true, except Whalefish on the Sojourn instead of the Tracer this time with the advantage of Kings Row High Grounds. I like this swap, but Centurion on the Mei could do a lot of damage here onto Chloe and a lot of pressure and force her to play a lot different than on map 1.
Yeah, I feel like Centurion and Dyer are actually really locked in together. I feel like Dyer is so much more comfortable now that he has sort of that rock, that wall in Centurion to sort of initiate themselves. But seeking initiation, Chloe goes straight in. With the help of the team, they're going to get a quick wipe onto the New Zealand Numbys. So New Zealand Numbys now seeing the composition, seeing that Chloe's opting onto the JQ. Maybe going to make some switches? Yes, we're going to see Raspberry now go over on to that Lucio. Realizes that the Zenyatta is a bit too susceptible to rush.
Well, I mean, they understood their comp's advantages against the Zenyatta. They just walked in. There's not a lot of burst healing coming out. And then is allowed Whalefish on the offense through the hotel to get a lot of opening damage on his side on. And with the Cassidy gone, Chloe was free to run free in the back line. But again, like you said, the swaps come on through here. Jack close to a Coalescence, but Chloe's in your back line with a shout.
Yeah, that's a very scary thing, but New Zealand Numbys with a good wall, good amp, managed to live right through that. They are very coordinated at the moment. You still have a lot of pressure coming in from Whalefish, from other angles. Jack with the first ultimate on the line, the Coalescence is going to create so much space up and towards point, and it's going to open it up for Dyer to push the aggression, push the pace, go straight onto the backline, straight towards the spawn of the Gatos. You got to think that that's already first point. That's going to be with 2.5 minutes to spare on the clock, much faster than the Gatos, and now you got to be worried.
You do got to be worried, and that came down to them just being able to out-sustain Teddy and Suzu. Again, it was well-timed, but they just waited it out, and then they re-ingressed with their cooldown advantage with Dire Spin pushing Chloe into the team. They got that pick, and then these Coalescence to clean up the final blows as well. Teddy just got the Suzu back right as the fight ended, and he TP'd out. Oh, hit the long-range javelin there into Whalefish, but now you do have 4 ultimates here for the Gatos. They're probably going to be able to hold pretty well initially, but the point is already through the choke, so you've lost that advantage, and now you're walking into Centurion's walls, and if the Numbys play this slow, hold their ultimates, they can just push this through pretty easily. A lot of space being controlled right now as well by Dyer. The point's going to get a lot of pressure here, a lot of movement.
I love that call by them. They just pushed up all the way to where they need to go. They created all the space, and they got through choke.
Oh.
They got through the second half, and now it's going to be big ultimates coming all the way through for these teams. It's going to be a beat from Raspberry to keep the team alive through the power of Chloe, through this overclock as well. But Yak's going to be able to find the pick. Jack going in with the Coalescence, seeing if he can maybe set up a hero play, a Blizzard on top of that, and it's going to be Sidon with the Blade, but Sidon gets shut down by Angel. It's a fight of picks here. Yak's still holding on to this Blade, doesn't want to use it just yet. They think they can win the fight dry, and I believe they have the advantage right now. Panini gets the cleanup on counterpart in Raspberry, and Yak manages to dash back. So very clean fight win and good ultimate trading for the Gatos.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that beat from Panini came in at just the right time to keep Chloe alive in the fight allowed her to rampage as well, get up off the rampage healing on top of the beat, kept the Junk Queen alive in the fight. But you look at it, they're not really holding the space because they want to re-engage with their Blade. Going in early, Yak low, got Dravelin to wing and spun away as well, but finds Raspberry on top of it. With Lucio down, that's probably a fight win here already for the Gatos, unless Dyer has a miracle. They use a rampage on top of it here. Sorry to take a job from you, but they're just going way too fast for you.
I mean, Chloe does build those so quick. I feel like she's building at the rate that, like, Jackie's building a Cole, and Cole is one of the easiest ults to build. But now, the Gatos are going to be getting a bit cheeky with it. It's a 5-man team off towards the left side of point, and I don't think they're going to see this coming. It's going to be a quick engagement onto the backline, but I didn't realize that Dyer was right there at the right time. A good Suzu in from Teddy M to keep the team alive, and now it's a fight of trades. See who comes out on top, and it looks like it's going to be the Gatos yet again who take that fight. I love that call. Even though they might have Angel picked in that fight, I think that was a solid call for them just to burn a bit of the time bank.
I don't think so, because now you've lost Chloe, and Panini at least died as well, so you can get better speed. But look at all the space they're being taken here by the Numbys. They're going to walk forward. If they can get a pick here, it could be devastating. And as well, I mean, Panini will have beat, but you're going into a Blizzard from Centurion who can just walk you off the point. There is 2 minutes remaining in time bank as well, so Numbers just play this slow, hold their ult advantage here. They could do it, but Teddy opens up with the Casino Rush. It's a nice one.
It's a very nice Casino Rush here. Still got a ton of pressure from both teams. The Numbys are doing a great job of just waiting it out, and Teddy M finds that headshot onto Centurion. That's going to be the green light for the Gatos to go in. They're not afraid to take the fight straight to Dyer. Dyer doing his best job to keep them away, a bit of spin to back them off the point, and now both teams showing a bit of disrespect just until they get Centurion back.
What I want to look for in this fight here is going to be Whalefish. Both teams having all their ultimates ready to use here, but Whalefish with the Sojourn could potentially get an opening pick with the charge. He is the game changer in this fight with the overclock, and opens up with a really nice pick.
And it's multiple ults on top of each other. Centurion with the Blizzard. He's with the beat there.
You've lost 2.
Yeah.
And they're going to have 4 ultimates. They're going to get their first. That might have been a bit of overaggression there from Chloe trying to build up this last bit of the rampage. And now you're walking to both supportables, Panini's as well. Yak has to come with Hero with the blade. Mythical Duck. This might be a fumble here from the Gatos.
But Angel's gonna have it in time, right? He goes in with the rampage. The beat's gonna be there to counter it, and the coalescence, so doubling up that healing, and it's gonna be Dire and Centurion on the point, cleaning up the picks. Angel's the last person surviving, trying to keep herself alive, but isn't able to do it, and it's gonna be the New Zealand Numbys taking map number 2.
Oh, Dire comes in. That was an incredible play by Dire to get those final kills. As he overextended there, you killed Chloe, you killed Yak. Chloe close to that, close to the rampage, can't use it. Just off the back of that, you saved your ultimate. Centurion did use the Blizzard in the fight before, but you walked in with 4, you forced Panini's bleed with the Blizzard. Really well played ultimate there. It came down to the final seconds, but they got it over, and that's really all that matters in the end. And now we're tied 1-1 in the series. Ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. Koth should be up next, and again, Numbys probably their most historically worst game type. Can they flip it here in the playoffs and take us to a map 4 at match point? Don't go anywhere.
And welcome back, everybody, to the semifinals of Aurora Esports. We have the Gatos de Guadalajara versus the New Zealand Numbys. And ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be in for a show. Currently 1-1 on 2 maps that were decently close. I feel like after King's Row, we could see anything for either team here, just based off how close that was.
This is a really interesting map selection as well, because you've taken us to Busan, which is fairly good for snipers and Kevin. But at the same time, you can play your dive composition to get onto Kevin. You don't want to go to a brawly Lijiang Tower or something, because then Centurion's May could come back in and put in a lot of work. So honestly, I like this map choice here from the Guadalajara. Also, chat, by the way, you can see all the control maps here. So you can see Mecha Base, you can see Downtown. But we're actually starting over on Sanctum. So go our way over there. Sidon on the Sojourn, first time so far this series. And Dire sticking on the Sarisa, looking to make Chloe's life miserable on the Doomfist. So I'll have to see which comp prevails here. Both teams playing the comp that they won their first map with, or one of the better ones, I shouldn't say, because they're on Giant Queen first map. But with Doomfist on Chloe, she's going to try to put some pressure onto Kevin, but can Sidon put in the work.
Yeah, and look at Dire right now, just sitting right on top of Kevin. Just want to protect that, but I think they're worried about the wrong guy because the engagement flips onto Sidon, didn't have enough of a slide to get out, and now the New Zealand Numbys are going to be down 1 in this fight, looking for whatever space they can get. Kevin just jumps on the backline. I don't know where that grapple was going. Maybe he thought the other way was the spawn room, but definitely not into a good enough place, though. Sidon now comes back and makes this into a maybe winnable fight. Teddy M goes down, Whalefish goes down, Jack is eliminated, so now even on the Zenu Baba for Raspberry?
How?
How'd you turn this around?
That's just Sidon making the swap off of the Genji, or off of the Sojourn over on the Tracer to get back just in time to take down Whalefish. On the Tracer, they were dueling Jack, and then so losing that Tracer pressure, not too much Chloe can follow up on. Chloe started the fight pretty good, punching Sidon out of the slide. Kevin down first again, though. So this could be tough here, but Dire has the force 2s out early as well. Could be big.
Yeah, so willing to push forward towards that, but Sidon with an absolutely amazing pulse bomb finds Chloe, finds Jack onto Whalefish too. That's gonna be everybody down. Zainababa has a little bit to say about it before he's likely gonna get speared with an amazing spear by Dire and eventually taken down.
I mean, yeah, Dire lands that, but it's just this is the Sidon show, this map so far. I mean, this Tracer has been putting in so much work. Just the counter dives. He's just waiting for them to go onto Kevin, and he just engages onto whoever's there. And there's just not enough healing, it seems, from the side of the Gatos to keep the team alive through Sidon's pressure. Sidon does fall weak, and they force out recall early. That could be a huge advantage for the Gatos.
And you can see they're pushing the aggression here. Q-Crawl straight into the fight. Jack with the Coalescence. Zyre with his ult of his own as well. Lots of damage being done towards point. Zainubaba and Kevin both going to be the ones to fall. Now it's going to be Yak with the blade on towards the point. That's going to be both supports down for the New Zealand Numbys. And Chloe there to clean up the rest. Sidon's just going to be one to stall, but not for long as he finally falls.
And yeah, I mean, you look at that fight, that just comes down to the fact that you're able to survive being to like 1 HP, 4 or 5 people on the side of the Gatos. Chloe had the meteor strike just in time to get out with her life and slam back down, get some heals back up. And they allowed Zainababa to keep that beat as well for the upcoming fight here. Sidon close to Pulse Bomb, but both teams having this beat. It's up to Sidon. Can he land a Pulse again and make a miracle play on this Tracer? We'll see what happens.
Yeah, looking Sidon right now, hoping to find a target. You got beats online for both sides, and trades coming out on both. Dives come through onto the supports, but Zainubaba is going to be the first one to lose out on his life, and that's going to be a quick fight cleanup. When you lose your supports, it's so hard to sustain. And now Los Gatos down to 1 fight. All they have is the beat. Maybe they can build up Tracer Pulse Bomb during the time, but long way from anything else, and Whalefish dropping dangerously low there. Yeah,
Whalefish 1 HP will get healed right back up. Both teams have this beat. Kevin with the Dragon. If they can potentially spot this rotation here, the Dragon could force out early cooldowns from the Kiriko. They use the Dragon. It does make things a bit awkward. Supports are split from Chloe right now, but she has the block to stay alive just long enough. And now comes Zainababa with the beat.
Yeah, they have the beat, but you have a late beat coming in here from Raspberry. Whenever he wants to pop it, just keep his team alive. Probably do it soon to hang on here, but it's gonna maybe let the point flip.
You might want to just use beat here to keep the team alive.
Yeah, I'd like to just confirm the fight.
You have the advantage. I don't know what we're holding on to this for. All right, we still win the fight, so it doesn't matter.
I was expecting. I don't know. There it is. Yeah, whatever.
I thought it was gonna be like, oh, we wait 2 seconds and we counter beat back in, have this advantage here with our Risa with a beat, but they just hold on to it. I mean, that's just. I guess it's just the Numbie differential. They just don't care. They're just going to hold on this beat for as long as possibly can, and now you have to use it to win the fight. And now we're going over onto this point, which is very brawl heavy, and we've seen Dyer on this Orisa has been putting in so much work. Has just been basically playing the anti-Chloe. Has just been javeling her off cooldown, has been spinning on her immediately, and has been landing some really nice cooldowns on the Orisa. A carry we haven't seen very often on this Orisa. I mean, Dyer's put in some carry performances on the Junk Queen, on the Sigma, but Orisa, new thing I've seen from him, and now it's really up to this Junk Queen look from the Gatos to bring it back in their favor. But as of right now, Numbys huge advantage going in this play.
Yeah, Numbys, I think Dyer's really found the Achilles heel for Chloe at the moment, and you can even see it with that spear straight off. Needs second to sort of reset on the point, and that's the green light for the DPS of the Numbys to go straight in. Chloe manages to get back, but is just greeted with another crazy shot by Dyer. They're cleaning up towards the point, but Yak does find one, finally gets traded back from Jack. Whalefish now dancing near the point. It's the last step before the Numbys can fully capture, but they do get the initial point progress, and now they just gotta wait for Yak and Chloe to fully get back before they re-engage.
That jab was so good from Dyer as well. Knocks Junk Queen off the high ground so he can take that space away from the Gatos as well. It forces Chloe to use her cooldown to get back to the team in time for the fight to start. But now they're going to have it here. They shout on in, find Raspberry first, but now Chloe's in the backline and very weak, making that 0.
And they're so good at turning on Chloe every time she goes in. It's always Dyer, it's always Sidon with that counter dive, with that counter push inwards. Even if one falls, the rest of the Numbys are there to clean up, as Jack and Sidon are going to clear that point, and they should be able to get Dyer back fairly quickly.
All right, it might sound a bit rude, but I don't think Kevin has actually been able to play the game at all. I don't think he has a final blow so far. He's just the bait. He just draws him on in. They use all the kudos to walk on Kevin, then Dyer follows up with a kill. The early Susan, early shout. This could be a huge play here coming out with Sidon's blade. But never mind, guys, flip it in their favor. Huge plays from Chloe in the backline with the Yak.
But they're going to utilize their ultimate, and it's actually going to turn around. Dyer 2 with that Terror Surge is absolutely massive, and Sidon's there to clean up as well. Daniel Bob, the last one standing, but also gets shut down. Almost a full team kill for the New Zealand Numbys, but they are going to still hold on to control of this point, and they do still have both support ultimates on their side that can counter out a Blade, that can counter out a Rampage as well.
Dyer's just saying no. That's it. That's this entire map, but just Dyer says no on Orisa. He's shutting down so many cooldown. He gets Chloe up the map as well with a javelin. Oh my god! Dyer is going ballistic here. He wants the booty bowl.
And I don't even know if there's a chance to touch here. You're looking at your Lucio, or just going straight down the bottom. Oh, the Tracer coming in through the bottom, going for the boop, and it's actually going to be found. Raspberry gets that one. But it's going to be a beat and coalescence towards the point. You've got to think that's going to be game over. GG's. The Gatos are going to fall, and the Numbys are going to take a 2-1 lead and boost on.
They have found the swaps. You know, they've done it. This Orisa from Dyer is just doing too much right now. Chloe cannot do anything on the Junker Queen because Dyer is, again, just putting all cooldowns on this Junker Queen. She uses Shout. They use Suzu again early. Again, like, not to sound rude, but did Kevin do anything this map? This was just, you know, the biggest question is like, oh, is Kevin cheating by not playing Widowmaker on Hanzo? But it wasn't that. It was just Sidon and Dyer did so much, and now Centurion comes back in here for our next map, and we're already at match point right now. The Numbys proving why they're number 1 seed right now, and they won their worst map type. See, if you're the Gatos, you're starting to sweat a little bit here.
Yeah, you're definitely starting to sweat. We'll have to see what the Gatos cook up here. Obviously, some team comp swaps have to come to fruition, but we'll check in with that after a quick break. Stay tuned.
These beats are the purest. Prove it, prove it.
And welcome back, everybody, to the semifinals of Aurora Esports. We have the Numbys on their map point right now, and to Kevin's either dismay or joy, I'm not really sure, because he's getting Circuit Royale, he's just not in for it.
I mean, he's probably happy because, I mean, Sidon gets to play Circuit Royale, which is never a bad idea. The only issue is now you have Centurion in. I mean, Centurion is a great player with Mei, with Farah. Not really known as the sniper guy, and is going to be playing Mei on Circuit Royale. I mean, it can work. I mean, we saw him do really well on the Mei on King's Row, but Circuit Royale might be a bit tough here for him. I'm surprised to not see him potentially on like the support play here. Okay, goes over to the Soldier, which with the buffs isn't too porous here. Jack onto the Zenyatta of all things, potentially expecting the Yak non-Doomfist composition. The only thing you want to notice here is that Yak moved over on a tank, and then Chloe over on a DPS. She said, I'm done playing against Dire. I'm done playing against Dire on the Orisa. But now, I mean, Yak is known more for that Doomfist on the tank. I haven't seen a Sigma. It could be swag. I'm not sure. But it's going to be very interesting to see. I mean, both these comps are interesting. The Soldier is an odd selection, but double sniper here for the Gatos is nothing out of the ordinary, especially when you got Chloe. If she can pop off here on the Widowmaker, we're going to map 5.
Well, this is interesting because we're sort of going back to what both teams are good at, and we get to see what Chloe is really, really good at, and that is the Widowmaker, as Yak does take down Jack as well. They're going to force Dire and the rest of the New Zealand Numbys to back off towards the point. Dire's doing a good job of just controlling space for now, but obviously into a triple sniper, you always got to be worried to peek your head at any point in time. You
do, and the Sidon mixes up over onto the Soldier, and a lot more mobility, a lot with the slide, a lot more pressure over onto Chloe. And I mean, Sidon is locked on right now onto this Widowmaker, completely ignoring Yak here. The point does end here, right? Oh, Chloe just barely missed that over onto Jack to get the body shot, though. We'll find Sidon again. This could be a Chloe DPS differential here. Again, Chloe. Another headshot she does not want to lose here. Whalefish comes on with one. Centurion touching the point for the line as possibly can. But just in the sight lines of Chloe, as we point 8 garnered here on Circuit Royale fairly easily.
And that's why you want to play Sniper on Circuit Royale. That's why you want to be in Chloe's shoes right now. I mean, obviously, an easier ult to build, but first one to her ultimate with the sights ready to really stare down anything. I think Numbys really have to play extremely cautious of those sights and just contest to deny Chloe of the sight lines, because when it's that oppressive, you always have to be having your shield up with your Dire. You always have to be catering towards that idea. Now that the sights are up, Sidon and the rest of the team has to be very worried. Dragon Strike as well. That's going to be very informed by the help of Chloe, and it's going to enable the pick onto Jack, onto Sidon. I don't know if the Numbys even gotten a kill yet. It just feels so one-sided.
I think they've gotten one, but that might be it. It's looking really rough here. This might just be the bread and butter here. If only Kevin was in, ladies and gentlemen, the Widowmaker specialist, he'd be shutting down Chloe right now. I mean, she is just, it's a firing range right now for Chloe on this Widowmaker. Centurion might get staggered here, but there's a shield from Dire, so well played. But again, that just comes down to DPS, finding final blows, finding these picks. Whalefish had a really nice dragon as well to split off the team. And now Dire's 1 HP. They have ultimates here. Sent swaps over on the Genji. We'll try to put some pressure over onto Chloe, but might be too little too late here, especially now she has this completely open hallway to work with.
I think this is good. I mean, it wasn't working. You got to find something that does work at some point in time. Yak does get fluxed upwards, but protected by both Teddy and the rest of the team. But Jack finally going in with the Zenyatta ultimate. Transcendence is going to keep the team up, and Sidon with the overclock as well is going to be able to find stuff. Teddy M stuck in a very interesting spot, but with the help of a quick shield from Yak, does manage to get away with his life.
If you're the Gatos, you take that. It's 3 ultimates for 0, especially 2 of those ultimates being Transcendence and Gravitic Flux. Big fight-winning ultimates now gone off the table here for the defense, and now you come in with your own window. Very nicely played here from the Gatos. They're going for a big Flux as Lena Dire, but Dire falls!
And Sidon does manage to get 2. This might actually turn the fight around because shuts down Chloe, but actually no, it's Teddy M. When you need to pick the most on a DPS, I mean, look towards Teddy M and he finds it when you need to. Jack popping off towards that high ground, but Whalefish is quick to shut that down. And the Mercy alone can't really do much to sustain the point, so it's going to be a bit more progress garnered on the side of the Gatos.
The Mercy pocket of Zenyatta did eventually find the kill into Yak, so the point's not going to move too much forward here. The corner can still be contested from the Numbys. They're going to have Valkyrie here, but walking into both DPS ultimates as well as Transcendence from Panini. This is a very nicely placed Dragon right now, forces 2 members to be isolated on the side.
Yeah, but Raspberry is going to pop the Valk, sustain the team, keep them up. Jack finds his counterpart, but Panini also got the pick onto Dire, so now it's Yak who's able to control so much space, take so much space away, and also take away the lives of both supports with the help of their DPSs. Sidon, though, does manage to get the pick, but Whalefish just popping off towards the point, and now it's just left on the side of Dire to touch this point, sustain for as long as possible, stay in this fight if they can. Panini's here, back real quick with the Transcendence to heal the team back up, and now I think it's just a game of touches. The Flux is good from Dire, doesn't get canceled by the Accretion, and now staying alive towards the point, seeing what they can find. The overclock from Sidon, that's the saving grace you're looking for if the New Zealand Numbys at this point. And Centurion, Raspberry, there to help out, but Yak still alive, finally gets taken out.
I was about to say, is there anybody you want on your team more than Whalefish and Chloe if you're going to Circle Royale and you got to run double sniper, because they were going crazy that fight, but then just at the right time, Dire comes to touch, has the eat to stay alive for as long as possible, and then you had Jack swapping over on the Kiriko, gets the TP, gets the Suzu onto Dire. He's able to pop that Gravitic Flux, lift him in the air. Panini swaps off the Zenyatta over onto the Mercy here to, it looks like pocket Whalefish, but I don't know if that's a play. I mean, the Zen was doing so well, the Discord is so good. And now Centurion has a free blade, no defensive ultimate to stop this, and if Dire can build another Gravitic Flux here before the time bank is over, that could come back to bite him.
And he just wants to pocket Chloe. I think he swapped off hoping. Oh wait, oh that's not.
Oh yeah, Yak is so low.
And it's gonna be a blade from Centurion going in. The Flux doesn't find anything, but Centurion's blade is definitely finding enough there. Yak is finally going to be able to turn that around, but it might be too little too late. Panini somehow grabs the res, though, and now it's just Jack and Dire up on the high ground. Dire gets found out. Sidon's right back, but 1v3 has to back up, has to care about this point.
That res turned it.
Capping.
Yeah, I said there's no defensive ultimate, but that was such a great res from Panini. Brought Whalefish back in the fight. Whalefish find the blows, finding the kills, as well as the Dragon Strike. And now Yak is there putting so much pressure. And despite Centurion's blade, they might be capping here. They're going to have a fairly small time bank compared to what they had going in. But Panini with the hero res makes me shut my mouth on that selection. Gets Whalefish back in the fight. I believe Whalefish finds 3. Builds a Dragon Strike. Isolates the left side of the doors. Very well played there by the Gatos. I mean, though, if you're the Numbys, you did get down to about a minute here in time bank, so it's not the end of the world. But Circle Royale, very tough to capture, especially if these the DPS are playing the way they are on the Gatos. This high ground on point B might just be inaccessible.
And I think if you're the Numbys, that's just a sigh of relief. That could have been so much worse for them. They were going in with almost 6 minutes after the second point, and they reduced it to a little bit over a minute. You're very, very happy with the outcome there. And now you have the option to set the pace. Now you have the option to say, okay, we can start on this awkward, maybe comp that we haven't really tried all that much of, with Centurion Sidon sort of diving, and with the help of Dire, and now we can be the aggressors onto those sight lines. We can sort of set our own sight lines and hope for the best.
If they do stick with this composition, it tells me we do not care about Yak. We do not care what the Sigma is doing. We are going on the Zenyatta. We are going on the Widowmaker, and that is going to be our target. Like, they just do not care what the Sigma does. If they stick with this dive look, which it looks like they're kind of running on a spawn with it right now, and it could be a difference maker here. I mean, the Sigma composition obviously wasn't working with a double sniper taking to multiple angles. Made it a bit rough here for Sidon to put work. And now they're sticking with this dive look. This could be a game changer, or it could be a major fail. I honestly don't know. If Chloe's landing shots on a Sidon, he will find it rough to play Echo here.
Yeah, interesting because you do have experienced Mercy players on your team. You can give side on the pocket, but into the Chloe sightlines, it's so dangerous to even be anywhere in the sky. We'll have to see how coordinated this dive is, and if people get picked on the way, it looks like that's exactly what happens. They get the dive in, they create the space, but by the time that happens, you already lost 2 members of your team. You already lost Jack and Cent. Raspberry falls as well to Yak, and it's very hard to press the aggression onto a team that is so oppressive with their sights.
They're playing this slowly, but it's working out for them. They're buying the picks. They got Tedium down, so no real help here. No Immortality Field, and now Paige getting staggered out as well. The Immortality Field comes out from Tedium, and now they're just going to walk in again. And these staggers are massive. Again, they played that slow. They got to pick on a Tedium. Losing that Baptiste early is terrible because you have no Immortality Field for your Sigma. Sigma's up there, got antonated, forced to retreat, and now the point continues to move forward here. Sidon closes duplicate, and we're gonna have a swap from Chloe on the Sojourn off the Widowmaker. So this dive pressure just simply too much for her.
And I think that's what you need to do. If you're on both teams, you have to consider this a win, right? First off, you got Chloe off of the Widowmaker, and now you also have a composition that's working if you're the Numbys. So you got to see how this new composition fight comes into fruition. Right now, you got Panini on the point, trying to stay alive, trying to keep this touch backed up by their team. Dire with the Primal Rage, trying to find whoever he can, supported by Jack. They're going to invest the Kitsune Rush just on Dire here to see if he can make the hero play. The 3v1, see if he can find anything, but it's on to a double support and Chloe. It's so hard to make that play happen.
And, I mean, Panini, just the fact that he's also alive with the help of Tedium's healing as well as his own proccing Inspire is great, because if he falls, I think they lose that battle, because Tedium messed up his jump as well. He didn't get back to the high ground, so he was stuck on low ground. He had to use Panini's help. He had to use Inspire to stay alive. And now, here comes the swap. So they're going right back over to the same composition. They no longer see a Widowmaker on the other side. They see a Brigida as well. So the walls are a lot more effective here from Centurion on the Mei. But honestly, look at the ults here for the side of the Gatos. It's going to be tough to break 1 minute in the time bank. This might already be over. We're going to map 5.
We'll have to wait and see, because I do think this composition now is going to be favorable for the New Zealand Numbys. If they're able to live through all this pressure, there's some great space they're able to protect from. But Raspberry gets lifted up by the Flux, and Dire gets dropped right down by it. Yak with a 2k there. Sidon does manage to get 1 just for his troubles, but at the moment they have no position to aggress anything.
Like I said, he does get 1 for his troubles, but it's also the Brigida, so she'll be back fairly quickly with the shield bash. She'll be able to take advantage of the high ground, but it looks like they're giving a little bit of space right now. They don't want to hold too far up until Panini has to turn. Panini looks like he's just back with the team, so they can still hold his corner right now. Willfish has the dragon. He's in the little corner. He's ready to lay it on out. It does split off multiple members here, and the rock lands mid-slide on the Sidon.
And if you're the Numbys, you gotta look for something quick, but then you gotta get straight out. Centurion's blocked in such an awkward position at the moment, and he is gonna get picked under that 30-second mark. So you really gotta carry your life right now if you're New Zealand Numbys, because you're playing for this one fight. You're playing to build this overclock from Sidon and this rush from Jack, because that's the only thing you have to really give back at both support ults for the Gatos.
Yeah, you're walking in this Riley. This window's well timed as well. Goes right up as a big fight begins, and Raspberry already down. And now here comes the Riley clean on up. Sidon with a hero overclock over the top, trying to get anything done, but it doesn't look like it's going to be just enough.
Sidon needs to find a head right now, but no, Yak's going to be the one who actually shuts that down. And Jack with the Kitsune rush, Centurion on the point. None of it is going to be enough. And BOON1E, just like we predicted, we are going to that map 5.
It's going to go all the way here. And it's going to go over to Flashpoint. No, yeah, no Kevin O'Cigarello disaster. I mean, that's just some counterplay coming out right now from the Gatos. They know you got to put Centurion in for map 4. They know he doesn't play the sniper characters. So you put Chloe over on DPS. You throw a double sniper comp at him. Not too much they can do. There's a hero rush from Panini as well. Making things happen here over on the defensive circuit, or the attack of circuit rail. And now going over to map 5. Well, to a map we're going to go. Both these teams' seasons hang in the balance. The BOON1E Bowl is 1 map away. Who's going to take it? We'll have to see in their fast break.
beats are the purest, prove it, prove it.
And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Aurora Esports semifinals between the New Zealand Numbys and Los Gatos de Guadalajara. And if you're just joining us right now, you came in at the perfect time because we are all tied up 2-2. The series point will be decided on New Junk City between both these teams. And BOON1E, this is exactly what we expected, but I don't know if we expect it to go exactly this way, and I have no idea what's going to happen.
Yeah, I can't say I expected the Yak tank to come out for the final 2 maps of map 5. I thought we were sure going to get the Chloe special and the Junker Queen here on New Junk City. So that could be something to look for as well. Not as much sniper potential here from Chloe on New Junk City. A lot more brawl, but she's known to play the game. She's known to play a Sojourn as well, so it could work. But Kevin comes back on in, and the thing to note here is from what I saw in score reporting, the New Zealand Numbys have played this last week against the Gangsta Turrets in map 5 and won 3-0. And the Gatos have played New Junk City once and lost 0-3. So, my math indicates that there's one team heavily favored here. But who knows for certain? It's gonna.
Yeah.
Is this a Mayoff between Sidon and Chloe? A Mayoff of all things. The two most mechanically skilled players in the lobby are forced to do a Mayoff in map 5 to go to the grand finals.
May slander. I'm a main now, okay? I'm a main. I respect this.
The big difference here is
a fair way to settle it.
The big difference here is going to be Jack on the Moira against the Tedium Kiriko. I favor the Kiriko here with the help of the Suzu. A lot more damage potential as well. So to see how it works out for him.
And the unique thing about this situation, both teams do not have that much experience on this comp. I mean, from the side of the Gatos, you're putting Yak on tank, something that you've considered at least, but you haven't really... Oh.
Do you have a pause?
Sorry, pause. We have a pause. Anyways, you're putting Yak on tank, something you've definitely considered, but we haven't seen come to fruition in many maps. And then you have Dyer on the Orisa? Wait, the wrong HP on tank? What does that mean?
There's
we got the wrong.
Might be a glitch in the code. So I'll just tell.
Glitch in the system. Never seen this before. Well,
okay, we're going back
looks
in.
Like we are restarting.
And both teams know what they're going to play, so it's
Yep.
Hopefully the
what if
tanks
we
have
see
their
some tomfoolery here.
Yeah, it goes like Zarya to counter the Orisa or something, and
Yep.
we'll see. We'll see.
I want to see that happen. I want to see like 2 people swap onto the same character to try to counter like another character or something silly like that. I think that'd be hilarious.
Leaky bottle beer. It looks like both teams are sticking the same exact thing. What's interesting here, though,
villainous. It's not fair. Overwatch.
I'm honestly surprised to see no swaps from Jack here. Like, I think we saw his healing resources get drained very quickly there in that first fight, and he's sticking with this here. So they're gonna play faster. They kind of have to because they ran out of healing juice and they had to play so slow while Teddy was able to pelt in more damage and has infinite cards. So we'll see if the game plan changes here. Now they know what's kind of going on, and they got I guess a quick scrim in before map 5 here.
Alright, we'll see. Can Yak get there first? Can he hit a big spear? Can he take control in the exact same position? And yes, he does the exact same thing. It's just as we scripted, but this time 200 more HP on the tanks apparently, or something with the settings. I don't know, Boony.
That would be correct. 200 more HP. And now you look at Chloe landing the headshots over. So it has a lot more Blizzard charge here. An early Fortify forced out from Dyer's. Oh, nice wall from Chloe.
Well, that's going to be a great green light. Dyer trying to spear out, or at least spear his way in, but Sidon's going to be the first one to fall in this fight. That's thanks to Zainu Baba. And now, this looks to be a collapse towards the point, but no, it's going to be Raspberry who trades right back. And 2-2 even fight thus far. It's a question of which team has more sustain. You got two supports up. You got Raspberry on the point. You got Jack still alive. Zainu Baba fighting towards the point. Gets the trade, but it's traded back. And now Kevin and Raspberry, the last two, staying alive, fighting for their life, and taking control of this point.
That's crazy. I mean, Chloe hits a nice wall, isolates the players, but then they are able to capitalize and kill a Yak as it goes a little too aggressively there. Doesn't use Fortify. They do have the huge Blizzard advantage, so side of 50%. Chloe already has theirs, as well as the beat, but they're walking into a coalescence, so they can play very aggressively here if you're the Numbys, exactly what you want to do.
Yeah, exactly what you want to do, especially on this Moira comp. It builds so fast, it feels like you get it every single fight, and you're at 50% right now, so another fight win could take it the entire way. It's going to be multiple ults stacked on top of each other. The Blizzard counted out by the beat. Multiple trades found so far. The overclock that hits Chloe straight in the head, but Whalefish trying to answer back with his own, but no, Kevin's going to shut that one down as well. So many ults being used. Terra Surge from Yak, and then backed up by Teddy M, but a Blizzard gets thrown down by Sidon. They want to close out this point, and they want to close it out fast. It's just Yak dancing down near the point. Sidon doing his best to clean it up, forces out for the block for just a moment. Chloe's back in the nick of time to touch this point, to stay alive as long as she can, but Sidon, the perfect answer for that, shuts that right down with the Mei, and it's going to be a clean first point for the New Zealand Numbys.
Man, I thought for sure the later support almost coming out from the Gatos was swinging back in their favor, but Kevin just comes up huge, able to slide out of the Blizzard just in time, takes a headshot overkill over on to Chloe, gets the mate out of that battle. They isolate Yak there pretty early as well. It was so close, but a lot also came out, and again, just came down to mechanics. Sidon able to stay alive for as long as possible, build that Blizzard, lays it down, isolates Yak over onto point. They take the reset out of the fight. So it was just so close on both sides, and now Whalefish only one with ultimate here on either side. He's got to be the game changer.
Whalefish has to be the game changer, and he's actually going to be taking an off angle with this overclock, trying to find whatever heads he can, but the New Zealand Numbys reaction was just so good to that. They force into the room, they do their best to take all the space that they can, and now they're forcing a 3 versus 3 fight. Obviously, Jack gets taken out towards the point, but this is potentially a winnable situation for Dyer. You're in a 2v3 with Raspberry, you're trying to find a pick onto Zainu Baba, but no. Chloe's eventually going to be able to shut that down, and Raspberry more than willing to give up his life.
And what Whalefish did with the overclock was it forced Jack to use his fade very early there, and he wasn't allowed to follow up with the team. They took that battle inside, which is where you want to go with the Mei. However, you had no healing from Jack, so it allowed just the damage to come on through from Chloe with the Mei, with the cleave. They're doing a lot of work there, and now 50% and counting on this point. You're going to have Dyer's ultimate here sounding close to Blizzard, but Chloe is matching it despite their later swap. We could see a 1-1 here pretty quickly here, especially if Sidon forces the block early.
That was a very good wall from Chloe, and putting him in a very good spot, and it's an amazing Blizzard as well. That's going to go straight in, try to shut down Dyer, but because he's in that Terror Surge state,
Dyer
keeps himself alive, finds two towards the point, and now looking down towards Yak. Yak didn't invest in Terror Surge of his own. That's going to find Raz, but a quick spear from Dyer is going to shut that down real quick. Whalefish falls on the point. It's just Jack and Dyer left standing. They're gonna flip it right before a 99 is hit.
These fights are so close, and it came down to Dyer hitting a huge Terror Surge in the middle of Blizzard, finding the pick over on a Tedium, losing that Susan, losing that healing from the Kiriko. Dyer again came up clutch, and now they're walking into Kevin's overclock. They're gonna have beef from Zayn above, Raspberry able to respond. So now they gotta fight early here. They can get 2 fights out of this and potentially get some ults early if they go now.
And these teams are trading effectively blow for blow here. They have the same ultimates. It's going to be the beat from Zainu Baba to keep them alive through Kevin's overclock. Whalefish looking for whatever heads he can find. Kevin doing the exact same. It's a question of who can find who. Teddy M with another great pick onto Kevin. That's been happening all series. They're looking for the pick. They do force out the block from Angel and doing a great job of sustaining towards the point. The Gatos need to wait for Yak to get back. They are going to have one last chance to test this point, to test their might against everybody, and the only thing stopping them right now is going to be the New Zealand Numbys, and this beat from Raspberry. It must be perfectly timed.
Yeah, she's got to look for it now. Goes on in, it lands on a foremost, doesn't hit side. It does hit side on eventually. Side on closest. Dyer with a big potential play here with the Terror Surge, but Tedium again down first. And now Kevin comes in with another pick. Coalescence, a lot of Blizzard being used, but it's just going to be Zeno on the point. They can't do too much. The Coalescence fade is there. Lucio trying to touch as long as possible, but it's just, again, it can't happen. I was going to say the last fight was worst case scenario. You only got the overclock out. Raspberry still had that beat, able to use it to sustain through the Casino Rush. The team got very aggressive with that. They find Tedium early, and now a desperate swap from Chloe on the Tracer. No more May. Sidon has Blizzard. Could be a huge early advantage, and they could cap the fort forced and set themselves up. There's just one more fight here, one more point for the Numbys themselves to our grand finals, and the Gatos to go home and send the Page captain to the bowl game.
Yeah, they definitely don't want that as the Numbys enter what is match Flashpoint here, doing their best to coordinate around. Obviously, the composition will swap with now Angel on towards this Tracer. Well, Tidon's going straight in, and that's going to find both the supports. A beat is invested there, and that's going to be an absolute waste. They're going to be able to clean up Zainubaba anyways. Teddy M tries to escape his life, but it doesn't find anything. And now if you're the Gatos, you're down the supports, you're down the sustainability you need. And even though you got that 12% at the start, it's definitely not going to be enough to hold on.
Willfish slid in, but just couldn't quite get out of the room, so Silent Hill just walk him down. It forces Teddy M to TP and Suzu him to get him out of the Blizzard, or to get him out of the freeze range and keep him alive, but then Sidon used that opportunity to throw it in the Blizzard, locks down both supports. They find Zainababa with the beat window go off. You lose your Lucio, and now you just have Yak's Terror Surge here, walking into Kevin's overclock yet again. Huge advantage right now for the Numbys, especially if Jack can build his Coalescence mid-fight. Oh, but a huge open pick!
Yeah, massive opening pick. Sidon is the man you need to find at this point in time if you're Zainubaba or anybody on this team. Numbys almost getting the point flipped on them. They're trying to hang on to it. Dyer gets on just in time, but it's going to be Yak with a Terror Surge that's going to shut that down very quickly. New Zealand Numbys do a great job of holding on to the point for the last fleeting seconds there, though. That is 66%, which gets them into a point where if they win the fight, they can sort of hit the green light. They can say, okay, we can push up a bit. If we get a good stagger, we will have the advantage. They just need that one fight win, and they're looking to either Kevin or Dyer with a big Terror Surge and overclock to do it.
Could be huge as well. Chloe is flanking here with his pulse bomb. If she can land on one of the supports, it'll be basically a point victory already. But they're going to go in here. So looking for it's going to stick. It's going to land, but does get on the side on Hughes. The block stay alive. So now here comes overclock from Kevin. Could be a turning point.
It's Kevin versus Whalefish. Dueling overclocks. Yak's going to be the first one to find a pick, though. Both these players looking for whatever heads they can find. Whalefish is going to be the one to trade it out. And Yak's there with the sphere spin to clean up towards the point. New Zealand Numbys don't have any options towards the contestants. Jack and Kevin fall late, and they need to already set up towards this next point.
And yeah, that pulse bomb from Chloe, though it doesn't find elimination, is forced out Sidon's block very early, so they're able to just walk down the May. And again, Sidon first to fall in that fight. So without your May, without that wall utility, not too much they can do there against Arisa, against Chloe on the Tracer. So now you're looking at it, you have your Casino Rush here for potentially opening up this last point or the second point. Raspberry does have beat for the counter, however, so it's just down to which support ultimate lands a bigger, more impactful ultimate in this fight here to open things up on bridge. Chloe's on the flank though, so a good start here. Forced out some utility early, and she just forced a recall, but positioning garnered. Oh, Raz walks in the pulse bomb.
Oh, that was an amazing pulse bomb by Chloe there that opens up the fight. But Dyer does manage to find Chloe. If they can sustain through this Kiriko ult, they could be able to find something big, but no, Yak shuts it down. A Terror Surge to silence all the doubters. It's going to be the Gatos who are going to be able to capture this first point once they hop on. Luckily, the New Zealand Numbys get a bit of time for free. Favorable, bit in their favor. They just got to wait for the rest of their team to find their way back. But yeah, now that you have Chloe on the Tracer, it's something else to worry about. It's this pulse bomb in the back line. Raspberry always has to be cautious. Same with Kevin, because that can always come into play.
You're walking into both support offense as well as the Blizzard here. If you are the Gatos, it's down to Zainababa to land a really impactful beat here, just the right time to keep the team nice and healthy through all this. But a nice wall lands on a Yak early for us. Has some cooldowns. Then come in with the cooldown, going fast and aggressive here.
Blizzard goes in as well. It's not going to be able to catch anything, or it's just going to be used to zone them out. It is going to get a lot of zoning, split up the entire team. Everybody goes one direction. They scatter across the way. But through all that chaos, Yak and Angel, they both managed to find one in the fight. And now you just have Jack, Dyer on the point, fighting for their lives. They have the supports to keep themselves alive, but they don't have Chloe. They don't have this clutch factor. They don't have this potential. Yak
is so weak.
What can he do? He's so low on HP. He's got to wait for the regen to come in. Multiple ults used there. That's going to be 3 dumped instantly. Terror Surge, Overclock, Beat, just to sustain on this point, just to hold on in these fleeting seconds. Whalefish with an overclock of his own, though. He's peeking up towards this high ground, looking for whatever heads he can find. Zaynubaba's cleaning up the point. Terror Surge from Yak as well. Zoning out the best he can. Sidon's back on Tracer as well. This is the longest I feel like I've ever casted, because it's the longest the point has ever gone. But it's finally going to step into the favor of the Gatos. And it feels almost like perfection, BOON1E. We're going into it. The last flashpoint in a 3-2 series. It's going to end right here, right now.
Yeah, I mean, you can't ask for much more than that. 0.5 on map 5. And outside, I make a swap over on the Tracer here. We'll see if he can get the better potential on this last map, on this last point against Chloe. No ultimates here for either side. Sidon the closest with his pulse bomb could be the game changer, but if Teddy can land a Suzu, will completely nullify that one. Chloe versus Sidon on the back line here, one Tracer. What more could you ask for? Chloe does fall very weak. Recall is forced, so now Sidon has that advantage here. The team looks to go on forward on that one. Yak has to spin. Oh, Zane down first! He's so close to beat!
Yeah, that's a massive pick.
Oh!
Teddy, oh my gosh, Sidon, the double pulse bomb! That shuts down the Kitsune rush as well, and that's exactly what you need. You clean up the point, and you get out the ultimates. It was a perfectly timed pulse bomb by Sidon.
You take that trade 8 of the week, pulse bomb for Casino Rush. That's a huge turning point here for the series potentially. Jack has the coalescence. Zainababa will have the beat though, so they could look to get aggro here. They should know they have no ultimates on the other side for the Numbys. The Gatos have got to be all tracking this. Chloe close to pulse bomb as well. So down to these 2 ultimates here that could be the game changer, but could also spell their doom here if they get an opening pick here. As Silent is there on the Mega, camping it for Teddy and falls a very low force out Suzu early. Oh, Chloe is
Oh, yeah. Both these Tracers just tormenting the backlines right now. It's a battle of who can stay alive for the longest. It's actually going to be Kevin, but a double pulse bomb hits. It's even trades on both sides. DPS and the support traded out both ways, and the trades keep coming in. Dyer, Raz, sustaining near the point, but then you have Whalefish back a bit early. They get the trade back. They get the pick. They get it exactly in time as well. And the Numbys holding on for the last fleeting seconds. They're going to be able to get 90%, but no more. And the Gatos, they have the ultimates to hold on to this, but the Numbys have the ultimates they need to retake as well.
It's last fight territory here for the side of the Numbys. If they win one more, they're going to get it, and they're not touching the point at all. They're going to force Chloe to use 2 blinks to touch. Chloe 1 HP, has to recall as well, but Whalefish has the overclock here on the side.
Yeah, just sort of canceled out by the beat. It's gonna be every single ultimate though. Numbys are dropping it all in. They need to win this fight. All their bags are in this one basket. All their eggs in this one basket. Are they gonna be able to find it? The Terror Surge is a hero play from Yak, but it's not gonna be able to find anything, and you gotta think, BOON1E, this has gotta be it. Zainubaba falls on point, and that's gonna be the Numbys. The GGs are dropped in chat. They're going on to the grand finals.
Going on to the grand finals. Such a close game. Win all the way to map 5, point 5. At the end of the day, they just had 2-minute ultimates. Just so close between both these sides. I'm surprised that Raspberry in the fight before didn't use the beat, but was able to hold on to it. And they used it for a huge advantage to sustain through Whalefish's overclock. Zane did have the later beat, but just wasn't enough. Too many people already done. And there are just so many ways the series could have gone. But now the number 1 seed of the New Zealand Numbers takes on the number 1 seed of the Zeniths in the grand finals. Should be a banger. And the Gatos Guadalajara go all the way down to the St. Michael's Consolation Bowl to take on the Dickeytown Dongers.
Yeah, and I gotta say real quick, an amazing season by the Gatos. I mean, that is, I think everything Paige could have asked for other than the championship. I think you're going up against what is considered to be the best team in the league. You bring them to the final flashpoint, to the final moments, and you come so close. I mean, I gotta give all the love and all the respect to the Gatos because they played out of their mind this season.
I agree. I mean, both teams played extremely well. We saw it going back and forth. And now we have the enviable position of deciding an MVP. I have someone in my mind, but I want to hear your opinion first on this one. But
I think I gotta give it. It's really tough because you have such a versatile. You have such a unique and versatile team in the Numbys. You have people playing their role and more in such a unique way. But the person who stands out on every single map to me has got to be Dyer, in my opinion, just because the moment he swapped onto the Orisa, it felt like he had it locked down. He understood what he needed to do at every point in time.
I'm glad we agree. Numbys tank player was also my MVP. So we can go ahead and bring them on in for a quick interview here. Let's see. And we're in production 2. Lol W. There he is in the right channel this time. Congratulations on the match victor and the match MVP, Numbys tank player, Dyer. Hell of a series, man, going all the way to map 5.5. Just your initial thoughts of taking on the Numbys and going all the way now to the BOON1E Bowl.
That game was a lot of fun. That energy was crazy. My thoughts on the Numbys?
Just your initial thoughts here. You know, going all the way to the grand finals. You guys have taken all the way. Now you're only one more match away. You took on a team that I think a lot of players, a lot of people in the league thought might have actually had your number. You know, coming into the series.
After map 1, it might have looked like it.
It did. It was looking kind of rough on map 1. That's going to be my next question. You know, the swaps here was going to be over onto the Orisa, onto the Mei to try to shut down Chloe. Just like, was that called by somebody in particular? Was it kind of just a team feel thing? Like, we cannot play a Joker Queen in this team. We are going to get our booties smacked by Mythical Duck. But you made the swaps, you targeted her, and just shut down that tank player.
Yeah, she was pounding. It was kind of like a team thing. We were all just like, dude, we gotta stop her. So I was like, okay, I'm playing Orisa. I did the same thing to Danny Mac a couple weeks ago. I just chased him around. He was on Queen. I just chased him around and spear him on cooldown. Just make it really hard for them to actually do anything. And then they're crazy, so had to.
Yeah, and then onto the other map that you sort of had to find a way around Chloe. Obviously, Circuit Royale, you swapped over to the dive, and then it was this awkward position between, do we want to go dive? Do we want to go Sigma? Do we want to go Winston? How do we want to handle? What was the thought process there on how to counter?
Do whatever we can to try and get to him. It didn't matter because she's disgusting and she was pounding. But you know, side 100 has gone Widow. I'll say, gone for it. But yeah, we had to try and do whatever we could, and it just didn't matter. It was a rough map. And especially, you know, they took us to Circuit when I don't think Kevin could have played that map. That's like,
he could not have.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's like all he's after. So that was kind of messed up from them, to be honest. But
and now
I just want to say I called that off screen. I was like, oh, now Kevin can't play on the escort map, so they can go wherever they want. So they're probably gonna go Havana Circuit.
Yeah.
So I got 2 more questions. First one here is, you know, you're going now into the grand finals. You're going up against the Zealots, number 1 seed of the other division now, a team that you have not played, a team that hasn't played you either. So now, you know, it should be a pretty good game. Both these teams making their way to playoffs, number 1 seeds for a reason in their divisions. Just your initial thoughts on what's going on in the BOON1E Bowl next week, if you have any.
So, I don't really know much. I know Nathan is like a freak beast, and I know he plays a lot of Queens, so I might just run it back. I know it's going to be a good game. I know that they've lost like 1 or 2 games, I think, right? I don't know.
2 out of division, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. It's going to be a lot of fun, though, I think. These last 2 games, you know, we didn't see map 5 this season. These last 2 games going to map 5.
The map 5 against the Anchor turrets.
It's exciting, you know? It's a lot of fun.
So now,
talk to me. Oh, sorry.
No, you go ahead. My question's dumb, so you can go ahead.
Man, my question's dumb too, but we're just doing our best out here. So, talk to me about your experience in this league so far. Obviously, you are a rookie, and this is your first time now going to map 5. Is it getting more intense as you're obviously going to be building up to this massive grand finals match, and how are you handling that pressure?
Oh, as playoffs have gone on, it's got way more intense for sure. These map 5s are going wild. We're like screaming comms to each other now when that hasn't really been the vibe for the most part. But I mean, you know, my team at least, we're still having fun in comms. It's been a lot of fun. I've, you know, no regrets on playing in these games, that's for sure.
All
I'm
right.
glad you're enjoying it.
So before we ask El Clasico, I have another question. People in chat are saying you're short. Now, as a fellow short king myself, I have to ask you, how tall are you?
I'm 6'4".
Well, that's...
Oh my god, that's taller than me.
It appears
Yeah,
that chat has been spreading misinformation.
Classic chat, honestly. Ever been in a Twitch chat before?
No, and I prefer to keep it that way. But going on forward,
Keep it that way. Yeah, keep it that way.
we gotta ask El Clasico, if you could not be match MVP, who would you give it to in your team and why?
I think everybody on our team went crazy. I would have to say Kevin. The maps when Kevin's in, the other team has to, like, even if he's not doing much, which, I mean, he always does a lot because he's disgusting, but, like, even if he's not doing it, the other team has to be like, oh shit, Kevin's gonna roll us. So they're, like, you know, making full comp swaps. You saw in Busan, they were playing, like, dive and making it even easier to play Orisa and just, like, destroy, like, tanks, just spear them on cooldown.
Because, I mean, yeah,
So
I
would say Kevin.
from what I saw on Busan, I had not seen much of Kevin in the kill feed.
Yeah.
But he was also just kind of the bait. Like, they went at him every single fight, and then Sidon just would blink in behind him and would kill him, and you'd jab him as well. So, you know, Kevin did his job. He wasn't showing the kill feed, but he did what he had to do to take that one home. Anyway, for...
Oh, yeah, I just got reminded, Sidon. Yeah, Raz is sick. That guy's MVP. He missed our scrims last night. Raspberry was sick. He missed our scrims last night. He showed up and he balled out today.
He actually had the Michael Jordan flu game tonight. Had some really astounding plays on support, some clutch beats as well. Keep team nice and healthy. So we'll swap it to Raspberry for the sick buff. But yeah, that's gonna do it for the interview here. Again, thank you so much for joining us, and congratulations on the victory, and best of luck next week in the BOON1E Bowl.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
It's fine. There you go. And he's off on his way. So, War, go ahead and any closing thoughts here before I send us on our way?
I mean, that was all I asked for and more. I don't know how I can close that off when we just witnessed absolute perfection from both these teams. I am so excited, and I know you are, as somebody who's playing in it, to watch the BOON1E Bowl to see who becomes the grand champion over Roar Esports this season. So I'll let you close it off, because I think you're going to be one of the most excited people for this match coming up.
Yeah, I'm very excited. You know, both the teams have done great so far this season. Both #1 seeds in the playoffs, making their way to grand finals. Wouldn't have it any other way. But that's going to do it for us here tonight. There is going to be a bowl game tomorrow between the Moonlight Foxes and the Berlin Brawlers. Let's make sure I get the name of this one correct here before I butcher it. Let's see. It's going to be the Vindy Man's Academy for Overwatch Learning Certification Bowl tomorrow at 7 p.m. CST. Make sure to tune in for that. We'll sure get a prod on for that one. But for us tonight, for War, I've been BOON1E. Stay safe, stay healthy, and have a great rest of